from Boston, Massachusetts, it's the National Women's Hockey League on NESN and ESPN3. The 11-1-0 Connecticut Whale take on the 8-3-1 Boston Pride from the Wright Landry Hockey Center on the campus of Harvard University, 1989 national champions. Alongside AJ Malesko, and I'm Andy Town. Welcome inside, everybody, and we're looking forward to a great battle between the top two teams in the NWHL this year, and Boston really showed that they should be one of the top teams after the way they beat the New York Riveters last week.
Absolutely. They don't have the same record that Connecticut has, but last week they put on quite a clinic, beating the New York Riveters 8-1, and they have so much talent on this team. Bobby J said this was their best outing. He wasn't all that pleased in the slow start of the season for them, but he really feels like they're starting to come alive now. He's tweaked the lines a little bit, and it sure worked.
And Boston has won 5 of the last 6 matchups that they have played in, and 1 goal in the first period last week against the New York Riveters team that really didn't feel that it played all that poorly throughout the entire game, but 7 goals in the final 2 periods, and there were 7 different goal scorers for those 8 goals last week against the New York Riveters. But today it's the Connecticut Whale coming into Wright Landry, and these 2 teams can both score quite a bit.
They can, and you mentioned the 7 goal scorers on 8 goals. They have so much talent, so many people to rely on, but of course the Whale do too. They have such a deep roster. They have so many people that can contribute all over the ice, so we expect a great matchup here today.
At least 4 goals a game for each team, and players to watch. Kelly Stack has been hot lately for the Whale.
She has, and she is a household name for fans of women's hockey. She's been a longtime member of Team USA, playing in 2 Olympics. She is a really fun player to watch. She sets her teammates up, more of a playmaker than a goal scorer, despite the last 3 games played, 4 goals, 1 assist for 5 points. But her hockey IQ is off the charts. And on the other side for the Boston Pride, number 3, Jillian Dempsey, a Harvard graduate, so playing here at old home for her. She loves being in this rink. She centers what is arguably the 3rd line for the Pride between Amanda Pelkey and Zoe Hickel, but Bobby J said they have been excellent, and really that's the line that we need to keep an eye on.
The only loss that Connecticut has suffered this year came to the Boston Pride last time these 2 teams played a couple weeks ago. Connecticut looking to avenge that. It's the Whale and the Pride next on NESN and ESPN3 from the Wright Landry Hockey Center at Harvard University in Boston, Massachusetts. Back inside the Wright Landry Hockey Center, starters being announced for the Boston Pride. Connecticut Whale starters have already been announced. It'll be the top line of Emily Field, Rachel Lannis, and Corinne Bowie going for the Boston Pride. And for Connecticut, they've got Cheyenne D'Arcangelo, Kelly Stack, and Alyssa Wolfeiler on the top line. But alongside A.J. Malesko, I'm Andy Town, and we're just about ready for a face-off here between the Boston Pride. 8-3-1 this season. 11-1-0 are the Connecticut Whale, which with that one loss coming to the Boston Pride. But for now, we'll head down to ice level for the national anthem.
Presser. And on the lines, Sarah Hickman and Carol Weston. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and remove your hats for the presentation of colors by the Boston Fire Department Color Guard, followed by the singing of our national anthem, performed today by musician, band leader, and recording artist, Frank Zarba.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Named for Lieutenant Ed Walsh from Boston Fire Department, the Ed Walsh Foundation was established.
Back upstairs, we're ready for the Connecticut Whale and Boston Pride. A.J. Malesko and Andy Town. And A.J., this should be a great contest between the two teams at the top of the NWHL that haven't played each other much. It's really just been going up against the New York Riveters and Buffalo Buttes so far for the beginning part of this season.
And with 6 games left in the regular season, 4 of them are actually between these two teams. So they're late in the season that they have all these matchups. And we talked about their records, 11-1 for the Whale and 8-3-1 for the Pride. But it's a little bit misleading because they're 1-1, these two teams. This is a rubber match.
And the All-Star game is actually coming up next week as well. So they'll have a little bit of time off before they play again, but they will play again in 2 weeks. Some of these players will actually be teammates next week in Buffalo for the All-Star game. 11 members of the Pride and 5 members of the Connecticut Whale will be up there representing their teams in the first NWHL All-Star game.
And having one of the All-Star captains out here, one of the captains of the Pride, Hillary Knight, there's Team Knight and Team Falzer. So all the All-Stars will be broken up between those two, and it'll be quite a matchup.
It'll be about half and half between the players on each roster. For Buffalo, there are 8 All-Stars. New York Riveters also sending 4 All-Stars up to Buffalo next week. So, again, 11 All-Stars for the Boston Pride 8 for the Buffalo Buttes, 5 for the Connecticut Whale, and 4 for the New York Riveters. So every team will be pretty well represented up there, and they'll be mixing and matching. About half of each number there will split between the two teams, and that'll be next weekend's action in the NWHL before Boston will take on the Connecticut Whale in Connecticut to finish out January. And then the only home game left for Boston will be a few weeks later on Valentine's Day, again against the Connecticut Whale. And that's the second, will actually be the third out of the next 4 games that Boston and Connecticut are playing against each other.
With only 6 games left, it feels like the winter hasn't quite hit up here in Northeast. We're having a little bit of snow here and there, but this season has been long. It's been very successful for this inaugural season here of the NWHL, but all signs point to these two teams being seeds 1 and 2 going into the playoffs.
That's how they are right now, with Connecticut at the top of the league. Again, their only loss this season coming to the Pride, which is 8-3-1. New York is 3-8-1. And Buffalo 2-8-2. Technically, you add an extra 0 in between the losses and that last number, because those are all overtime losses. There are no ties, as the goalkeepers today will be Brittany Ott for Boston and Jamie Leonoff for the Connecticut Whale. Now, as we get towards the end of this season, we do know that the playoffs will be your typical 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 matchups, and these two teams will be battling for that #1 seed. And if Boston can get another win or 2 over Connecticut, that's the only way they're going to be able to do it, is to beat the Connecticut Whale head-to-head. But we're underway here, and Brittany Ott, protecting her own net, will have the Pride charging up with Rachel Lannis in the middle, sending it up the ice.
It was a beautiful breakout, but Emily Field got a little distracted by her coverage there. She would have been gone on a partial breakaway had she been able to see where that puck coming from her center, Rachel Lannis.
Boston has it back behind the net. Corinne Bowie back there, now into the right face-off circle, centered in front and knocked away by a Whale defender.
We talked early on about the top line here that started Emily Field, Rachel Lannis, and Corinne Bowie. Of course, the next line comes out as Smelker, Decker, Knight, so it just shows the firepower that Boston has, that you have somebody like Decker and Knight coming out as the second wave of attack.
Cheyenne Darkangelo there for the Whales, send it up the ice, and icing was called, so Boston will have an offensive zone face-off. It'll be in the left face-off circle, and we'll see if Jamie Leonoff is tested right away, one of the 5 All-Stars for the Whale.
Clean face-off win. Kelly Stack there, very good in the face-off circle.
Went up against Jillian Dempsey, who is typically 70% in the face-off circle. Boston has a couple of players that really dominate there. Dempsey and Knight the top 2, but Decker and Lannis also high volume and above 50%.
It's a second icing for Connecticut. Interesting, there was a chance there for that puck to get out cleanly, a chip off the boards or even a pass right up the center, and she opted instead to ice it, and of course they can't get a change now.
And Boston has the only shot on goal. They'll have another chance here after another face-off. Didn't get one following that last face-off, but we'll see if they're able to convert on this one. It looks like it'll be Brianna Decker in the circle, lined up to take the face-off for Boston. And it looks like Kate Buser will actually back out for the Pride. One initially by Boston, but Connecticut takes it up the ice. That was Buser that got a stick on it. Now she'll try and knock it in back to the offensive zone. She does so successfully. Chase it into the corner. Now leaves it off, lets her teammates go after it. Buser picks it back up, bottom of the circle, tried to send it back out to the blue line. Interrupted momentarily by Smelker. Boston into the offensive zone once again. Decker with it. She tried to put it on net. It's knocked away. Dangerous chance there for Boston. And open back of the net, but able to cover up is Leonoff.
2 clean opportunities, right? That last one by Decker, and the first one was Decker fed it over to Knight. 2 very dangerous and potent scores. You can see great job by Leonoff to cover up, but a little bit of a misfire there by Decker. She's a right shot coming across there. That should have been her exactly where she wants the puck, but couldn't quite get a clean shot.
It looked like Leonoff got a right pad on it, closing off that post and then covered up. Leonoff has certainly played in this building before, a former member of the Yale Bulldogs, as Connecticut has it in the offensive zone now. It squirts across the crease. Danielle Ward there had the chance, but nobody on the other side to put it home. Back into the neutral zone. Michaela Long will bring it up on the near side. Poked away from behind, getting a stick on it, Gedman. Flung up the ice, now right through the center circle. Cook on the left side, back to the middle. Missed the connection there, and Boston turns around, will go back after it.
A lot of missed passes on both sides early on. Of course, we're only 3 minutes in, so both teams are trying to get their legs under them. They know more pressure on this game than some of the other ones, but just off those passes.
Quick trip into the offensive zone. Kelly Stack here, puts it off in the corner, has D'Arcangelo there. Taken away by Alanis, pokes it up to the far side half-board. Stack picks it up again back to the blue line. And now over to the near side. Out in front, D'Arcangelo couldn't reach out and get a stick on it before Bowie took it away. And now Alanis will skate through the neutral zone. She loses the puck, and Connecticut takes it again. Here's a shot coming in, blocked by Ott, and loose. Ott gets it. Diving left to right, Ott spun around and made the save.
Wow, what a connection there. Kazumi, Stack, and Engstrom. We haven't talked at all about Molly Engstrom, a 35-year-old defensive stalwart here, coming back out of retirement, to two-time Olympian. She snuck down there, and Kelly Stack backhand, sort of a blind pass, but to Molly Engstrom, and what a save by Brittany Ott. I think Engstrom thought she had the whole net, and she did. Brittany Ott showing her athleticism.
Like she may have knocked that down with the stick hand, in fact, not even the glove. Couple quick shots for Connecticut. They've evened it up at 2-2 in the shots category. No score yet. Almost 4 minutes in. Buser leaves it off. Koizumi there. Picked up now by Dempsey. Dempsey lost it. Will try and pick it back up. At least clears it out of the defensive zone. Connecticut pushes it up and will go off for a change. Bellamy over to Dempsey. Taps it back. Gives it to Marvin. Marvin skating up the right side from the bottom of the circle, puts it in front, still loose. Boston had a chance there off the side of the net, and Connecticut will try and clear.
Zoe Hickel was right on that post.
Gedman was able to keep it in momentarily. Now the Whale back up the ice. A lot of north and south skating here. Teams have traded offensive possessions. Boston will try to get one there. Couldn't get much further than the red line. Smelker up, fighting for open ice, doesn't have any, so she sends it up to the blue line. Bellamy there, wrapped around the end boards. Smelker to pick it up, and Connecticut takes it away from her. Bellamy lost an edge there, but was able to fling it off the side boards. Back in the middle, shot, save. Leonoff has it and covers up again in the crease, and both goalies have been tested today.
Another chance for Hillary Knight, leading scorer here for the Boston Pride. Look at her offside, gets that puck right where she likes it. Great save by Leonoff, but she has a quick release. She was looking down. She definitely had some traffic in front of her, and Leonoff showing why she's been such a good goaltender for the Whale.
Saving over 93% of the shots that she has faced this year, and so far Boston has taken 4, unable to convert. Been a couple of tough shots that Leonoff has had to save as well. Seen her and Brittany Ott both tested early on in this one. About 6 minutes into the contest. Up in a one-on-one coming. Corinne Bowie will be chased off into the corner. Tried to put it in front, and Cook unable to convert. Back to the center. Connecticut in on sides. Wrapped around the back. Ott skates across the crease to stay with it. In the middle and from the right point. A shot and a score.
It's one of those goals. You see Kelly Stack, number 61. She took over control of that play just outside the offensive zone, and she carried it all the way around, looking, and then found the point wide open. And good shot, a lot of screen, not a ton of power on that shot. But there was so much traffic in front of Ott that she didn't have a chance to see that. But Kelly Stack, you can see her looking, watching, and everybody's sort of wondering what she's going to do, and she catches them unawares.
Tamimoto there, and Connecticut has a 1-0 lead. 6 minutes and 20 seconds in. Boston wins the faceoff on the restart. It was a 1-0 game at the end of 20 minutes last week against New York, and then the onslaught started as Leonoff starts up. With that, we'll take a quick break here at Bright Landry Hockey Center. It's 1-0 Connecticut on top of Boston on NESN and ESPN3. Back at the Bright Landry Hockey Center, Tara Tamimoto getting the Connecticut Whale on top of the Boston Pride. 6 minutes and 20 seconds in. It's a 1-0 Connecticut lead. Boston leading in shots 4-3, and Leonoff had another save that sent us in to our break there.
And probably if we're looking at stats, that scoring chances, Boston is ahead in good scoring chances, but right now all that matters is who's scoring on the board.
Connecticut chased it back defensively as we get started again. Still in the first period. Again, two teams here that both scored quite a few goals. Last week it was 8 for Boston in the win over the New York Riveters on the season. Each team over 4 goals per game though. Boston has scored at least, or Connecticut has scored at least 4 goals in each of the last 3 games, with 5 last week against Buffalo on Sunday. They had 4 on Saturday against New York, and then the week before that they had 6 over the Riveters as well. Another shot and a save by Leonoff, and she's able to cover up.
Wow, Leonoff does a great job there stretching across. It looked to me like there are at least 2, maybe even 3 Pride players uncovered. That shot came in, and she does a good job of controlling that rebound. Here's another look at it. You can see you've got Pelkey's right there. They come in late and protect, but she was right there all alone in front of Leonoff.
And Leonoff has been great at protecting those rebounds today. Boston's had a couple of great chances that she has covered up and not let Boston take a second or third chance at her. Connecticut had numbers momentarily. Boston quickly back defensively. Now Bellamy pushing off into the corner to the blue line. Bellamy will bounce it off the boards. Decker heads up, tries to put it in front. No shot there for the Pride. And in front again, that scoots all the way through. Nobody else there to get a stick on it. Things slowed down here the last minute or so. Knight left it off on the far side. Smelker picks it up again. Thought she had Decker to pass to. Looks like she had open ice between her and the net.
Yeah, absolutely. Step right out. She's looking to pass. But if there's nobody to pass to, then it means you probably have the open ice, and Decker's usually pretty good about taking that. But you're right about things having slowed down. The first 5 minutes of this, there was a frenetic pace to it. There wasn't a lot of connections. I talked about the missed passes. Now I think everybody's had a couple of shifts. They're settling in a little bit.
There was the first goal that came from Connecticut at 6:20, and then a stop by Leonoff sent us into a break right after that, only about 12 seconds later. And since then, everybody seems a little bit more comfortable. It's not just going out there with the initial excitement of a game, and that's kind of what seems to have slowed this down. Into the center, Connecticut with a 2-on-2 out in front, and Ott was caught on the other side. Great defense by Bellamy to keep that away.
It's the third time that Kelly Stock has set somebody up in front of the net. One of them, of course, ended it in a goal. She set Engstrom up early on, and there you can see she's not looking to shoot.
Lannis battling with Doyle, put it out in front. A shot there coming from Bowie, but Leonoff again with a stop. Boston up to 7 shots now. Ott makes a stop and will hold on to this one for the faceoff.
It's interesting, though, quickly back to that point with talking about Kelly Stock. She's such a playmaker. Despite her 4 goals in the last 3 games, she's really a playmaker. She's looking, she's coming in. She was on her onside there looking to pass, and she does it so well.
The last 3 games, it's 4 goals out of the 6 that she has this season.
And then an assist here today.
Out in front, a shot right at point-blank range from Kate Buser, but missed it wide right.
Kozumi Fly, number 56. Great back check, so much speed.
Puck bounced into the Pride bench there and out of play. We'll have a face-off coming up in the neutral zone.
A lot of these players, speaking of Kozumi and some of these other players, they've graduated, all of them have graduated from college, but now they're into coaching, and so they see the game a little bit differently, and a lot of them say it really helps them. And I talked a little bit about Molly Engstrom. She used to, even as a senior at Wisconsin with Mark Johnson, she used to help analyze tapes, and then she got into coaching, and Kozumi's coaching at Yale now. So these players now are looking at it more analytically, and a lot of them say it really helps them on the ice.
It's one of the differences between these two teams. Boston has a lot of players that are a lot more recently out of college, as Ott makes another save there, and Connecticut has more players that have been out of college for a couple years. Talk about that more on the other side, but for now, it's a 1-0 Connecticut lead over the Boston Pride. Back at Bright Landry Hockey Center, Brittany Ott has made a couple of nice saves. That one of them right there.
And great setup there. Molly Engstrom, defenseman, sneaking down to find that, and she's got a ton of poise, a lot of experience, and she thinks that she has the net. Look how much of the net she has. And Brittany Ott, as you mentioned when it happened, she used her stick to corral that puck in and control that rebound. Amazing save.
Had to go all the way across the crease and extend herself to make that stop, but that's what has kept it at a 1-0 game so far. Connecticut is on top as Tara Tomimoto has the only goal of the game so far. Boston will charge into the offensive zone, see if they can get on the board, but Connecticut takes it away.
That's what these teams need from goaltenders, and all 4 teams seem to have it. As a goaltender is not going to make the saves you expect, but those spectacular saves that you don't expect, those are the game-saving saves.
2 goaltenders in today's game, both all-stars, to be playing next week in Buffalo as Leonoff dives and spreads out again to make a stop.
Another good connection between Hillary Knight and Brianna Decker, who are new line mates. Knight has been a center for Bobby J, and he has moved these lines around, and one of the differences is here, this Brianna Decker, 14, and Hillary Knight, 21, playing with Jordan Smelker. And already you can see Hillary Knight is a natural right wing, and she has been playing center, and she's a strong enough player to carry a line, but that connection right there, Knight to Decker, and then with Smelker out there too with her strength. it's a line to contend with.
A couple of former Badgers out at Wisconsin as well. A couple of the top players that Wisconsin has had. All-American, Patty Kazmaier winner. You know a little something about that.
Back in the day, you mentioned that banner. The banners they showed at the beginning, 89 was the men's and the 99 was the women's, but it seems like eons ago.
Another whistle here as the puck was brought out into the neutral zone. Looks like it may have popped out a little bit, and with 8:51, Boston still leads in shots on goal, 8-5, but it's still a 1-0 Connecticut lead, and the penalty will be against Corinne Bowie.
Maybe the chances have been few more scoring chances in Boston's favor, but the game really feels halfway through this, or a little more than halfway through, feels like a back and forth game. Feels very even.
It's been up and down the ice. Each team has had the chances, and even the one goal didn't look like it was really on a set-up play. It was just Tomimoto ripped a shot and found the back of the net.
So again, you can see the danger of Stack trying to put that puck across.
The penalty was for a body check as Ott Swats went away from the crease.
Great, another great save by Ott. She put her glove across her body to bat that puck away.
Connecticut on the power play this year, just over 25%, leading the league. And here's a shorthanded shot, but blocked in front. 13 goals on 51 attempts, and the Whale back behind the Boston net. Buser sends it out, back to the blue line. Connecticut will cycle it around. Watkins sends it back behind the net. Kazumi back out to the blue line. It's kept in. Off the skate of a Pride player. Right there was Gallardi. Boston just trying to get in the passing lanes as much as possible and hold this 25% successful power play unit at bay.
Doing a good job of keeping them to the outside, breaking up the plays. They're very aggressive. They're not. This is not a passive penalty kill.
Keeping along the blue line now, sent into Ott, and she covers up. 15 seconds left, and Boston has done a great job on this PK.
Good possession by the Whale, but not clean possession. They have to really keep their wits about them. Boston's pushing them around a little bit and really creating havoc up against the boards, and doing a good job of not allowing. I think there was maybe 2 shots on the power play so far. Still 15 seconds left.
Tried a couple times. Now a slap shot coming, but right into a couple of bodies. Bounced off of Doherty, who will chase Dempsey up the ice. Back across over into the corner and back to 5-on-5 hockey as Bowie is released. Taking her spot on the ice, though, will be Smelker. Coming on, there was a chance in front, but Connecticut blocks and takes it away. 1-on-2 coming for the Whale. Not a great chance there for Ward.
A lot of block shots by Boston. They're doing a good job keeping, another one right there, keeping the pucks outside and not allowing many to penetrate.
Dempsey taken down. And Ott will cover up. A soft shot comes at her. And knocked into the play there was Ward. A bit of an extra touch to make sure she stays away from the goaltender.
Good play. Ward hesitated a little bit right there on that drop pass. She gave it away. She could have done it a little bit more deceptively early on, and the way she looked around and turned her body, she telegraphed what she was going to do.
Face off, Rachel Lanis kicked out of the circle. Kelly Stack lined up. Now she'll take it against Emily Fields. Stack wins it right back to the blue line. Slap shot had a deflection at Ott. She kicks it away.
With that shot, they take the lead in shots against the Pride here.
Now Ott up to the top of the crease. Count that one as a shot very soft. She had no problem covering it.
And of course, they did have a couple of shots on the power play, which allowed them to get more. They took that shot away.
Lanis and Stack were lined up there, but they'll redo it with somebody other than Kelly Stack. Lanis able to win the faceoff on the second try. That went against Babstock. And offsides called against the Pride. And that will bring us to our third and final timeout here in the first period. Connecticut on top, 1-0 over the Boston Pride. Back at the Bright Landry Hockey Center, of course, Denna Lang in the minds of everybody, fans, players, and anybody involved with the NWHL. It's been great to see her recovering and being able to tweet and post on Facebook, even through her family over the last week.
Yeah, and really she's in the thoughts and prayers of everybody in the hockey community, showing the strength of this community, of this sport on the men's, on the women's side. There's been a ton of support. The Jacobs family through the Bruins have just donated $200,000 to the Denna Lang Fund, which is unbelievable. And a lot of the players, Patrice Bergeron namely, has started the funds, donating to the fund and helping out with it. Heartbreaking injury, but amazing, the positive spirit and enthusiasm and never say die attitude that she has.
And those number 24 jerseys that you saw coming out of the break are on sale today at the Bright Landry Hockey Center. And of course, they're also collecting cards to be passed on to her family as well.
There you go with that. Yeah, they're selling these shirts, jerseys, I think, shirt/jerseys, and all the money, all the proceeds will go to the Denna Lang Fund. And I know that there has been a huge outpouring from many teams, youth and other teams, making the sign of her 14, which was her college number at Princeton. And obviously these players were there at the Winter Classic during her accident, but it's amazing to see the community come out and support.
Leanoff pokes away a shot. There is information on how you can get cards and thoughts to Denna Lang as a goal is waved off here for the Boston Pride. They're going to say there's a high stick involved. And we'll take another look at that one.
That was, before that goal went in, Leanoff again showed why she has become such a great goaltender here for this team, getting a ton of attention. Watch this shot comes, Leanoff makes a great save, and then it's right there coming out of the air, and that is definitely a high stick if they review it. I think they're waving it off on the ice. That's no question, that's above the crossbar.
Hillary Knight got her stick up on it, and immediately it was waved off on the ice.
Good hand-eye coordination nonetheless, however, to show Hillary Knight her athleticism, everything she does, but it gives them a little bit of, they'll get there. And again, looking back at, there's Bobby J. He's got a 24 pin on his sticker on his lapel.
You saw the yellow scarf that Lauren McAuliffe was wearing as well, and that's something the Pride will be doing in honor of Denna Lang. And as I was saying before, information on how to get your cards and thoughts to Denna Lang on the NWHL website, nwhl.co, or you can send an email to fanmail@nwhl.co with the subject Denna Lang. But on the ice here, Boston back with it in the offensive zone. A 1-0 Whale lead after Boston just had a goal waved off as Hillary Knight came in with a high stick to knock it in. Connecticut back to the offensive zone. They try a shot, and pinned up against the boards there was Smoletsnova. Connecticut, another shot wide right. Pride have done a nice job keeping it in the offensive zone and taking shots right away. So Whale, Boston trying to clear it away. Back to the corner, and it's Marvin sending it up the ice. At least got it out of the zone, but now Dempsey will try and charge forward. Has Hickel there to help. Hickel tries his shot, now in front. Puck is still loose. The net was at least temporarily knocked off, and it is still off the moorings there. The whistle blows, and we'll have a face-off.
One thing that both of these teams, I had a chance to talk to Jake Mestel, the coach of the Whale, and he was saying that they are good enough that, look at this, watching the replay here, good job, again, controlling the rebound, a little bit of help there too. I think that's Ward off to the side, keeping that puck out. But the Whale, he says, are good enough. They can play whatever style they play against. They can play speed, they can play chippy, they can play physical, and they know that Boston is fast. So he said they are bringing their speed game today, and they sort of adapt. They're a little bit of a chameleon that way, and they're good enough, which is interesting. You talk to a lot of coaches who say, we're good enough, we play our game. We don't adjust to our opponents, but the way he says it, he says we can play whatever style of hockey they want to play.
Bolden knocked it down. Now Connecticut will take it away and at least clear it out of the zone. Under 3.5 minutes left to go in the first period. Here's Bolden again. She picks it up and will send it along the end boards over to Gallardi. Boston able to get it away from the cage. Out to the middle, covered up defensively. Puck is loose there. And not really sure if Tomomoto knew that she was on top of that puck, and we'll have a whistle, and it looks like a cross-check being called. And this will go against the Whale. Yeah.
First power play opportunity here for both these teams, as we mentioned. Such good power play numbers, and again, they have the talent, they have the roster to do this. So Kelly Stack, not a great player to be sitting in the box for the Whales. She's so versatile, obviously does a great job in the offensive zone, but she's so quick and smart that she's a great penalty killer for the Connecticut team as well.
Boston's power play number 2 in the NWHL at just under 22%, but Connecticut, their penalty kill is number 1 in the league at about 85%.
When you look, you got Kazumi out there, and she showed her speed, has showed her speed on the back check. She's so quick and she's so effective. Good player to have out there.
Stack in for the cross check. Under 3 minutes to play in the opening period. Connecticut is on top 1-0. It was a 1-0 score last week for Boston at the end of 20 minutes. That opened up quite a bit in the second and third periods. However, this game certainly doesn't have the same feel that the first period did last week. There's a shot and another stop by Leonoff.
Good job by Leonoff. Coaches always say the goalie has to be the best penalty killer on the team. She's got to be able to direct the team verbally, but also the way she plays. And as you mentioned, she's controlled her rebounds so well today. And here's another example of that. She takes that puck, and there was no second chance.
And Boston does lead in shots, 12-10. Haven't been able to get one past Leonoff yet. Face-off is won by Boston. Left off now in the right face-off circle, looking for a shot. Open now from the top. Marvin ripped one. Missed wide left and into the corner. Boston scores.
Looked like it was Hillary Knight took that puck and roofed it. We talk about her quick release. Maybe it was Smelker. I don't know. There was a big scrum, and it was such a quick release. I thought it would be Knight, but there she is right there. It's Smelker, number 11, right up top there. Just snuck through there. Apologies for calling it Hillary Knight, but she's the leading scorer. Sometimes you just expect it, but Jordan Smelker has been such an effective member of this team too. What a quick release. She gets that puck, it's bouncing a little bit, and yet she finds that hole.
A power play goal for Jordan Smelker. That's her 5th goal, or her 6th goal, excuse me, of the season.
Good power play. They moved the puck around again. Boston, both of these teams, but Boston, you put some of those players, the Smelker, Knight, Decker, and then you've got Marvin and Bellamy, they have so many people that they can play on their power play that are so effective and they work so well together.
Boston with it again. It's Zoe Hickel up on the near side boards, passing it across the ice back to the blue line. Boston will keep it. Now, shot looking for a deflection there to go towards the net. Couldn't get it. And Connecticut will come up the ice. Back to 5-on-5 hockey, of course, after the power play goal.
Great defense there by Blake Bolden.
Hickel lost the blade on her stick. Will have to skate back to the bench. Boston playing down just temporarily and fresh onto the ice there. Decker takes it away.
Good read by Decker, coming in, reading the whole way. She saw that coming.
almost went coast to coast with it. Got stonewalled without a clean shot. Now Connecticut pokes it loose, back to the blue line, kept in there by Marvin.
Misfire there by Molly Engstrom trying to get that puck out. Just misses getting it and allows Boston. They had a clean breakout, but couldn't quite get that stick-to-stick pass.
Bellamy will control it around the red line. Keeps it on sides. Less than a minute to go in the first period. Wales send it up to the corner. Now Stack tried to wrap it around. Ott was there protecting the post, so she decided not to shoot. Out in the middle, defended and deflected. Looked like Lannis got on it. Kamimoto now to the far side. Stack all the way across, looking for a shot or a deflection.
Little sense of urgency here by the Whale with 30 seconds left to go, knowing if they score a goal now, it counts for a lot.
Cook went down, back up quickly. Marvin battling for it in the corner. Marvin has Lannis there, used the back of her stick to send it over to Cook. Stack leaves it off, and looking for a shot there was, looked like D'Arcangelo. From the blue line, shot blocked by Bellamy, and Boston clears it out. That'll do it for the first period, as Connecticut got on the board first, but Boston answered back with a power play goal, and we are even at 1 through the first 20 minutes of play, and that was back and forth the whole way.
That was back and forth, absolutely, and the scoreboard reflects that 1-1 as we expected. A great battle out here, great competitors, and 2 more periods of fun for us spectators.
And we'll see what the final 40 minutes have to bring. Hopefully it's just as exciting as the first 20. At the end of the first, Connecticut 1, Boston 1. Back in just a moment with more from the Bright Landry Hockey Center on NESN and ESPN3.
Games I played in the first one.
Okay.
And then I've been injured.
Back at Bright Landry Hockey Center, an exciting first period of action here between the Connecticut Whale and the Boston Pride. Of course, playing here at Bright Landry, but we're joined by Anya Battolino, of course, wearing the Boston Pride shirt here, but a member of the Connecticut Whale coming up. And is one of the practice players been injured the last couple of days, last couple of games for the Whale. But just talk about your experiences so far this season, the first season of the NWHL, of course, and being able to play not only with some of your former teammates in college, but people you used to play against.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, this year has been so much fun because it's been you know, the people that I played with in the in the Canadian League, and then my college teammates, and so everyone's kind of coming together, and it's just been a whirl. When I always say it was very emotional. So it was laughing, it was crying, it was cashing a paycheck, it was getting injured, and that was hard. And so it's been battling against that too. So it's been a lot of adversity, but it's been a lot of fun at the same time. And I know a lot of us, you know, rivalries, things kind of build up, but we've all kind of joined together. And, you know, you see me wearing my Dana Lang shirt today, and you know, it's been so much fun to watch how the league is, you know, obviously competing and playing against each other, but we're just such a big family, and it's such a great atmosphere for women's hockey in general.
Now, obviously, one of the biggest draws to the NWHL is that you're playing professional hockey and you actually can get paid. However, many of the players do have off-ice jobs, and just tell us a little bit about what you've been doing off the ice as well, and you know, how you keep yourself busy and balance that time with playing professional hockey.
So for me, I work in sales. So in the morning I wake up, I go to my job, I sell some stuff, I have a ton of fun, I meet people. You know, that's my favorite thing. I love to network, I love to talk to people. So I do my sales job. Immediately after that, I rush home, I grill some chicken, put some vegetables together, and I get in the gym. And so for Connecticut Whale, we practice pretty late at 10 p.m. So work all day, starting at 7 a.m., straight through to about 6, and then from 6 to 8, I'm trying to rest and eat and be a person, and then from 8 onward, I'm in the gym, or I'm rehabbing, or I'm skating. So it's been crazy. It's a lot of fun, though. I love to stay busy. I'm a busy person, so it's good.
Now, that's a common story for many of the players in this league, and not just yourself. And there are a few players that are training full-time with the national team, but you've also mentioned that you're heavily involved with media.
Yep. So I like the social media aspect. I always say that I'm the social media guru of our team. I'll tell people what to tweet, or I'll adjust their Instagram captions. So it's a lot of fun where, you know, I get to say, okay, I'm going to connect with the fans. I'm going to become a part of it. I'm going to insert myself in their life. And it's a lot of fun to watch how they push and pull and what they love to do, and bring that in with what we love is hockey. So it's fun to see the big world kind of come together through social media.
And then back onto the ice here, how does watching the game from the sideline really change your perspective and help you when you go back onto the ice?
I like to look at what people are doing, what their strong suits are, who crashes to the net, where those passes can be made. As a defenseman, I love watching the offensive game because for me, I see it from one side. When I watch it as a fan, you almost see the complete opposite side. You're looking for goals, as opposed to me, I always focus on the D zone. So it opens up my mind a little bit, so I'm so much better prepared for when I come back to the game, knowing what our systems look like, how we've been playing, what has been working for us. So for me, it's about gathering all the information now. So I try to take little bits and pieces when I watch it, but you know, for us, we just need to get ready to get back on the ice, and I'm excited and I'm eager for it. So.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Anya Battolino. I'll be back in just a few moments with Megan Mangine of the Boston Pride on NESN and ESPN3. inside the Bright Landry Hockey Center. We are at the first intermission in a 1-1 game between the Connecticut Whale and the Boston Pride, here with Megan Mangine, a player for the Boston Pride. You actually got in last week's game, not playing today, but last week that was certainly an exciting game and one that I'm sure you're happy that you were part of.
Yeah, it definitely was a great battle and a great game to play in. Just getting the team back together too after the holiday break and coming out like that flying and having a bunch of goals is always nice too. So it was an awesome game with great speed.
An 8-1 game last week against the Riveters, and earlier this season Boston actually was the only team that's beaten Connecticut, who they're playing today. And from your perspective, just how big is that, especially as you go in towards the end of the season, where Boston is number 2 in the standings and having been the only team to beat Connecticut?
Yeah, I mean, the big rivalry with the Whale and everything is definitely a great battle. Every game we have played against them. It was awesome to win the last game against them. It was a great battle, and we were down. We've had 14 players on the ice there. So today it's definitely going to be a big game to see who comes out with this win going into playoffs within the next month or so. So definitely a big game here.
And you have your yellow scarf on there, the traditional pregame attire for Denna. Obviously, the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of support. And how much, obviously, it's been affecting the team. How much are you able to go see her, and how much has it meant for the team to see all the support from outside the Boston Pride community specifically?
Yeah, the support we've seen from everywhere, all over the world, I would say right now, is amazing. Just for Denna, people sending cards to her. I know this game, a lot of people have come with cards to just give their love and prayer to her, but it definitely means a lot to the team, and we're sporting our scarves because Denna was always a big fashionista, and just a memory of her. And we FaceTime her the other day. I haven't gone to see her yet, just she needs to get ready and get settled in, but it's definitely been awesome just communicating with her and hearing her positiveness. So.
Well, a lot of players and staff with the yellow scarves. We saw Anya a minute ago with her number 24 jersey. The cards being collected here today, and of course NWHL.co has information on how to get fan mail to her, or email fanmail at nwhl.co with the subject Denna Lang for that. And with that, we'll take a break, but thanks very much, Megan Mangine, for joining us. We'll be back in just a moment on NESN and ESPN3 with Connecticut Whale and Boston Pride. Even at 1 through 20 minutes of play between the Connecticut Whale and Boston Pride inside the Bright Landry Hockey Center. on NESN and ESPN3 alongside AJ Malesko. I'm Andy Town. Welcome with us and thanks for joining us. That was a really tough battle for both teams up and down the ice. A lot of heavy competition through the opening period.
And no surprise, that's what we expected up here, and that's what the fans expect. And top two teams in the league, you can see some of the highlights here. Started out very even, a little frenetic as we mentioned, and then it settled down a little bit. Here's the Wales' first goal, but heroics at both ends of the ice. Ott made some great saves. You can see them coming down, and especially we talked a little bit about Kelly Stack and her setting her teammates up. And of course, Leonoff on the other end made some amazing saves as well until they finally solved her on the power play when Kelly Stack was in the box. This was a goal that was called back. Hillary Knight, they didn't argue it. It was a high stick came out, but again, goaltender heroics on both ends. That to me was the highlight of the period. Good back and forth action, a lot of speed, some physical play, some great passes, and fun hockey to watch.
Brittany Ott and Jamie Leonoff have been putting on a nice little clinic in goal, and you see Brittany Ott right there. She has made 9 saves so far. Leonoff has made 12, as Boston has the edge in shots, but it wasn't until late in the period when Boston evened things up and got on the board with that power play goal.
They didn't seem to be holding their sticks too tightly. Sometimes that happens, but they know they have so much time. They know they have so much talent. All it takes is a couple bounces that go their way, even if they're facing a hot goaltender. So you know, I expect a lot of shots. 13-10 is not a huge amount of shots for these two teams because both of them have such great firepower. But of course, when you're looking at who's shooting, those shots certainly mean a lot, and they're coming at you as hard as they shoot them.
Well, Pride back on the ice. Connecticut Whale joining them here as it is 1-1, just a few seconds away from the start of the second period. Jamie Leonoff skating it back out into the crease as you see Molly Engstrom there. See a couple of Wisconsin Badgers on the ice. We've talked about plenty in Brianna Decker and Hillary Knight, the co-captains. Engstrom, a little bit more experienced Badger, graduated in 2005, a two-time Olympian, out on the other side of the ice against the Pride today. Boston wins the face-off to start the second period and quickly gets it into the offensive zone. Chasing down low, Fields couldn't quite get to it. Connecticut tried knocking it away, finally get it out of the zone on a second try. Stack puts it back behind her, and Boston will again try and get it into the offensive zone. From the left face-off circle, banged along the end boards. Engstrom off the wall in front of the Boston bench. Picked up by Doyle. Stack on the near side, loses it back behind the Boston goal. Doyle fires it up into the corner. Nearly a minute in, and it hasn't been quite the frenetic pace that we saw early on in the first period. As Hickel now had her stick up in the air, waving at it. She was right at the blue line, waiting to go off for a change, but she would have been able to touch it for an easy dump. Buser coming in from the left side. Ott knocks it away. The rebound was there, but nobody else in a blue jersey.
Buser was looking around, couldn't find anybody with her, took a shot, good shot, but Ott was there to control it.
All the way up, and icing is waved off. Behind the goal, Dempsey got a stick on it, couldn't keep control. Buser had it, and now will sneak over the blue line into the neutral zone. Turned around in center ice. Boston nearly had numbers, and now a shot wristed up and stopped by Leonoff.
Not even 2 minutes in, but a lot of turnovers from both sides. It looks like they're trying to make these long passes, whether they're cross ice passes or here's a nice pass that connects with a shot. No easy save for Leonoff there, however, no traffic in front of her. But on both sides, they're trying to make these big long bomb passes that they're telegraphing, so they've been intercepted on both sides.
Ward and Decker in the face-off circle. Brianna Decker able to win it for Boston. Flung in from the blue line by Bolden. Doherty fought for it, but Boston takes it. Now in the face-off circle, shot stopped. And I don't think Leonoff even knew she had that.
I don't think so either, but again, that's something you've got there. Hillary Knight coming in on the left side has a right shot, so her stick's on the inside. She has a good angle on it and a good hard shot. Big, strong player. Good job by Leonoff.
Face-off again, won by Boston. Back tonight, now out in front, shot by Decker off the side of the net.
Caught the outside of the post.
Nobody in a yellow jersey there to put that home, and Decker and Ward get tangled up a little bit. Ward lost her stick. Now shot coming from the blue line again, that time off the stick of Gedman. Knight back behind her, tried to set up a shot, now a rip, and Leonoff gets the stop. Smelker with a great try there.
Looking for her second of the game. Good connection. You can see why Bobby J puts this line together. They're very good at finding each other.
Closing in on 3 minutes into the second period, still even at 1 on the scoreboard. Boston with 4 shots in this period. Decker looking for another one, put it out in front, and Leonoff covers up.
Smart play by Decker, very patient, waiting to come across. Looked at somebody, she passed into space as opposed to passing directly stick to stick.
Kelly Cook was right there as Decker tried to set her up actually rather than take the shot herself, and Cook tried to go through the legs of the defender, but Leonoff saw it all the way. Connecticut tries charging up, but 3 yellow jerseys converge and take the puck away for Boston. Even at 1 as the puck squirts over the board and out of play. We'll have a face-off. It'll be on the near side in the offensive zone for Connecticut. One of the earlier saves here that Jamie Leonoff has had to make. A lot of nice shots for Boston here in the second period.
Great job, good heads up too on the play on the defensive men to clear that rebound.
From the face-off circle, pass across, and looking for the next connection there, Corinne Bowie was half a step behind. The cross kicked up by D'Arcangelo. One-on-one, but she's pushed over to the near side.
Looks a little out of gas too, looking to get a change.
The penalty coming up against Boston. Looks like this will be a trip. In fact, it will, and it'll be another penalty kill for the Boston Pride. Casey won't be Bellamy, and looked like she was heading up, and instead it'll be Bowie.
Corinne Bowie goes off there. So far this period has been all Boston. Again, we're only 4 minutes in, but Boston has had better chances, and now Connecticut has a chance to even the score, at least in goal scoring chances here on the power play.
5-on-4 advantage for Connecticut for the next 2 minutes. Corinne Bowie, 2 minutes for tripping. This is the second Connecticut power play of the day as Ott spreads out there. Shot ended up wide right. Back to the corner, now to the blue line for Doyle. Slid over and blocked in front and unable to clear there. Looked like Decker had a stick on it.
That's a tough misfire. Those pucks have got to go the length of the ice.
2-on-1 and a shorthanded try there, but the puck just slid past Dempsey's stick. Hickle fed her and was a little bit too far ahead. A minute left to go on the power play for Connecticut. They've got it back offensively. Smolenseva is up in the corner now as D'Arcangelo.
Smolenseva is coming for a change right now. Haven't talked much about her, but talk about the experience and the age on this team and for the Connecticut Whale. I actually played against her, so that is definitely, I'm not sure that's something she would want to admit, but she's been on the Russian national team since 1999, so I played against her at the World Championships and then again in Salt Lake City in the Olympics.
Another block in front for Boston. Smolenseva captained the Russian national team in the 2014 Sochi Olympics. He's been around with the national squad for quite some time, and Ott covers up again with some extracurriculars after the play. Haven't seen a whole lot of that so far. These aren't really two teams that are that familiar with each other. Again, so far this season they've played each other just twice. Of course, Connecticut has must have in the back of their minds that Boston is the only team that's beaten them, but we've seen them get involved in a couple other things, especially with the New York Riveters, who were here last week but imagine they'll get to know each other a lot better over the next few weeks.
Absolutely. With this, 3 more games after this over the next couple weeks. And you know, the New York, these two teams have more players that have seen each other on the international stage and even in the college game, whereas the New York, the Riveters Pride rivalry, I think comes just naturally for Boston, New York. Any Boston, New York teams that play, no matter what sport, there's going to be a heated rivalry.
And Stamford, Connecticut, just outside the city. That's the home of the Connecticut Whale. They did play last weekend in a game against the Riveters at Ingles Rink. A couple players from Yale, very familiar. Chance here for the Pride. We are back to 5-on-5 out in front. Leonoff makes the stop. Puck is still loose. And Engstrom actually slides that right back into the glove of Leonoff. We'll see that when we get back. But for now, Leonoff keeps this as a 1-1 game. Boston has had some great chances, but we're even on NESN and ESPN3. The goals have come from Tara Tomimoto and Jordan Smelker, but the stars of the game so far have been the goaltenders Brittany Ott for the Boston Pride and Jamie Leonoff for the Connecticut Pride, and we see just a couple of the great saves they've made today.
Yeah, they've done a good job. They've shown their athleticism. They've shown them coming across the crease, doing a lot of lateral movement, and you mentioned it at the end of that last play there. It was actually Molly Engstrom. We've talked about her a little bit. Very experienced. Here she is right here down. She actually takes that puck very gently and brings it back to her goaltender, which is a little bit of a dangerous play, but you can say she does it with some poise.
She did it slowly enough there. Leonoff didn't seem to quite know it was coming, but Engstrom was careful to not send it 5-hole and score on her own net.
Right, you can see how slowly and deliberately she did it, but there are a lot of crashing Pride players, so that was the challenge there.
Boston back behind the net. They'll try and start an offensive charge and go the length of the ice. Now pushed over to the far side, interrupted on defense by Alyssa Wolfeiler. Haven't spoken much about her so far today, but another player familiar with the Boston area, having gone to Northeastern University.
Familiar also with this rink. Two different ECAC versus Hockey East, but Northeastern and Harvard certainly see each other a fair amount during the college season.
Played in a couple of Beanpot games here as well. Well, the whistle, 7:04 into the second period, even at 1, and we really can't talk enough about how Jamie Leonoff and Brittany Ott have kept that score. It is 5-on-5 hockey. We've seen a couple of penalties so far, but so far Boston is the only team that's been able to convert. Jordan Smelker with a power play goal, and we'll have another one coming up with Connecticut's Wolfeiler going into the box.
I know Boston Pride, we've talked about their firepower and their 8-1 win last week against the Riveters, but they faced a hot goaltender. A couple of the games that I've been here for that have been on NESN and ESPN3, they faced Nana Fujimoto, who was so hot in one game. They could not get pucks past her, so they know how frustrating it can be to face a hot goaltender, but they also know they have one in their own end today.
Boston against New York, now 3-2 this year after the 8-1 win last week. 4-2, including a shootout loss against 4-1, including a shootout loss against Buffalo. And so far, 1-1 against the Connecticut Whale. A chance there, and the puck is still loose in the crease as both Leonoff and Doyle were in the net, but now the puck clears out and Boston will reset.
Great play there by the defenseman to clear that puck off of, I think it was Smelker's stick. But then there was some miscommunication there. There was a little bit of a hesitation. Who's going to take the puck? What's going to go on? And that gave Boston another chance.
Slap shot stopped by Leonoff. Big rip there for Brianna Decker. But Leonoff again is there, and Boston has had 19 shots stopped by Leonoff today.
Those shots, obviously she's there, and Decker's such a good scorer, but those are not the impressive ones to me. It's things like this. You can see it's actually Hillary Knight coming in. I said Smelker. They stripped the puck from her, but the fact that Leonoff is able to have that poise, find that puck right there, and make a save without the stick in her hand. She drops it, has to find her stick again, and then Decker puts that big blast on her, but there was no traffic in front of her. So those are actually the easier stops.
Shouldn't be too much of a surprise that she has done such a nice job today. She leads the league in save percentage, 93.2%.
When I was talking to their coach, he was saying that he doesn't have a starting goaltender. He likes the fact that he has all three, and they've had some injury issues with all three of their goaltenders. But you can see today, I think Leonoff is probably going to be their starting goaltender going towards the playoffs.
The Chelsea Layden hasn't played since the second game of the season. We've got a delayed penalty coming up here. The goaltender situation, Layden hasn't played since the second game, but the first 3 wins for Connecticut this season all came with different goaltenders.
In the first 3 games, they rotated around. They were undefeated for a while. Leonoff did have the home opener. Excuse me, it wasn't a home opener. It was in New York, but the season opener. And with that win, 4-1, historic win in so many different ways, historic game for this league. Here, taking a look at the penalty, body check, good call by the referee, and but unfortunately, here you go, 5-on-3. Unfortunately for the Whale, fortunately for the Pride, a 5-on-3 opportunity.
Only 10 seconds remaining of 5-on-3. Here comes a slap shot, score! Boston takes advantage of a 5-on-3 and takes a 2-1 lead.
That didn't take them very long at all. Only 5 seconds left on that first penalty, but here there's so much real estate for them to work with, and Gigi Marvin, number 19, back there on their point, playing on her offside with a big blast, but also just smart play, moving it back and forth, waiting for the hole. They know that they both can shoot, they both can find the spots, and she just waits till she had a look at the net.
Second goal of the season for Gigi Marvin puts Boston on top 2-1 over the Connecticut Whale. Still a minute 50 left to go on the body check penalty to Kaylee Fratkin. Boston will try again as Decker gets it in, but they'll call the offsides. It's a big moment here at Boston. Can end up taking a 2-goal lead on this power play. You can never really be comfortable, but it would make them feel a little bit better.
Looking at the goal, here it is, back and forth. Bellamy and Marvin have played so much together, both for Team USA and here for the Boston Pride. They're partnered together. Great pass. Obviously a very good shot from Gigi Marvin, but you can't underestimate how well that Bellamy teed her up with that pass. But you're right, you talk about a 2-goal lead. Some coaches say 2-goal lead is the worst lead in hockey. You feel very comfortable, but I don't think either of these teams would ever write anybody off with the talent and with the firepower that these teams have.
Out in the middle, a shot comes from the point, and that misses just wide to the left.
And Marvin, if she had hit the net, that was going in. I don't think Leonoff saw that one.
Marvin definitely had it past the goaltender, just off the mark. Over halfway through the penalty to Fratkin. Again, it was about 13 seconds of 5-on-3 that Boston had. Only needed 8 of it before Marvin scored. Tap back to the blue line. Now Pelkey turns, takes a shot, knocked away by Leonoff. Puck loose in front, couple of hacks at it, and it's cleared away by the defense. Babstock got a stick on it.
And I think Long might have helped clear that one out too.
Here's another chance, a 2-on-1, deep, still loose. Another try for Dempsey, the whistle blows, the puck was still loose.
Early whistle by that ref. However, what a great save. We keep saying it, I feel like a broken record, but Dempsey with that speed, quick transition by Boston Pride, very, very smart play coming in, and then she makes a great move. We talked about her in the open as a player to watch, watching that smooth move coming across, getting a shot, getting her own rebound. Watch this, here it is, and then puck is still loose. She gets that rebound, but Leonoff had made that save. So had that puck gone in, the Pride really would have had an argument about that that early whistle.
And if you started the replay on that a little bit before, had she scored, that certainly would not have been the last time you see that goal.
No, that is true. That was a whole team effort, too.
Hard into the boards goes Pelkey, and a whistle is blown. Another penalty coming up. This time it'll be 9 seconds of 5-on-3 for the Pride as off goes Kazumi.
The Whale has to show, they have to show a little bit more discipline here. We got two players in the box for 9 seconds. It took less than that for the Pride to capitalize last time on the 5-on-3. And of course, these two players are not the players that you want in the box for the Connecticut Whale. They're both so effective, and especially you've got Kazumi, who's so quick and transitions so well. And another huge opportunity for the Pride.
I'm sure Fratkin doesn't mind having a little bit of company, but not when it comes in the penalty box. She'll only be there for a couple more seconds as puck is loose, and Boston got another shot. Up to 25 shots in the game. 12 of those have come in the first 11 minutes of this second period. Fratkin out of the box now. Still a minute and 40 left on the 5-on-4 power play with Kazumi in the box.
The beginning of that, with 9 seconds left there on that 5-on-3, a pretty subtle but critical face-off win there by Kelly Stack. The last time they scored on the 5-on-3, the face-off went right back to the point.
Boston up in, and there's another try, but not a clean shot there for Hillary Knight. She was skating a little bit too fast to be able to turn on that one.
Still does a good job getting the puck on her. Decker feeds her, and then she gets that puck on net, even with that wraparound backhand there. But you're right, not much on it. Easier save for Leonoff.
And 20 on the advantage for Boston. Linesman got in the way there a little bit, may have helped Boston keep possession. Pickle tried to pass it back to the blue line, didn't get a clean stick on it. Now Pelkey does go back to the blue line. Boston has Hickle right there on the goal line. Pelkey again will pick it up as it bounces off the boards.
I think for the Whale here, they've been on the penalty kill for so long now that it's exhausting, first of all. And the other thing is they start to play a little bit more tentative. Look at them hanging back, whereas the Pride on their penalty kill were being very aggressive and breaking up a lot of these plays. And the Whale has been playing so much on the penalty kill that they have to conserve their energy a little bit more.
Pickle had a hard shot there that Doyle took off the body. Now the shot ripped and nearly deflected by Doyle. All the way up the other end, so that'll be a welcome change for the Connecticut Whale. Had enough time there to get 4 new players on the ice. 10 seconds left on the penalty. 2-1 the Boston lead as Bolden will go turn it back behind her own net. Connecticut has it in the offensive zone as they get back to 5-on-5. Kazumi returning to the ice. Certainly not where the Pride wanted to be when Connecticut got their 5th player back. Now Kazumi got a stick on it to keep it in the offensive zone, but Boston clears it out. Now 1-on-3, Decker had it, wanted to take a shot, but defended well. Hard to get a shot when you've got 3 blue jerseys around you.
And yet she almost did. Good play by Bellamy to step up, recognize that they had outmanned the Connecticut player there.
Long up in the corner, lost it to Decker. Decker sent it into the corner for Smelker. Smelker behind her own net. Now Boston has some open ice. A 2-on-1, but a little bit too far out in front of Decker. It was knocked away. Smelker, though, bounced it off the boards. Knocked up forward by Smolenseva. Boston keeps it in. Over to the corner, Wolfiler skates it around Bowie. All the way up into the corner now. Pride up 2-1, under 6 minutes to play in the second period. I'd say the Pride have controlled this period quite a bit more than you could say either team controlled the first.
No question, and even looking at the shots coming into the last 5 minutes of the second period, it's 26 for Boston, 12 for the Whale, and they were much more even, I think off by 1 or 2 after the first period. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with their back-to-back power plays that they had, but they certainly have had the better opportunities.
Back-to-back power plays, including a few seconds of 5-on-3 in the middle, but with that whistle, we'll take a quick break. 2-1 Boston on NESN and ESPN 3. Back at the Wright Landry Hockey Center, a look at what else is going on around the NWHL. Of course, next weekend out in Buffalo, the NWHL All-Star Game. 16 players from the two teams on the ice will be participating in that. For the Boston Pride, 11 players, and Connecticut Whale, it'll be another 5. Boston will travel to Connecticut and take the ice at Chelsea Piers on January 31st, the same day that the New York Riveters are back in Buffalo taking on the Buttes. And then Boston will take on the New York Riveters in New York on February 6th before returning home for the next time on Valentine's Day to take on the Whale. Back in action here as Tommy Moto, and Boston has it loose and it bounces in. Jordan Smelker, her second goal of the game.
Wow, that is a tough bounce for Connecticut. Tough bounce here for Leonoff, but really it was created by so much pressure on the forecheck. They're coming in, and then it looks like it was Pelkey that was trying to pass in front, number 16. She's trying to make a pass here, and it goes off the defenseman, off of both the defensemen there. Maybe it was Ward even that it ultimately went off. I think it bounced off both of them, but you could see Leonoff was coming across the crease looking for that pass, and their defenseman, just a tough bounce for them.
It definitely was not Smelker. It would have been Amanda Pelkey who should get credit for that goal. Her 7th of the season, 2nd against the Connecticut Whale. So Amanda Pelkey gets the goal, and Boston is up 3-1, under 5 minutes left to go in the second period.
That's a tough one for Connecticut to give up, but leading up to it, it really felt like Boston was in control of this game. So it felt like it was almost a matter of time with all their power plays, all the pressure that they were putting on the Connecticut goal, and just looking at how they were forechecking, how they were pinning him in their zone. That's how they created that.
Well, if there was ever a time to put a goal on the board but not a shot, that was probably it for Amanda Pelkey, as she got the lucky bounce. Boston certainly won't complain, as Connecticut will try and answer back. Babstock tried to turn around there, couldn't quite do it, and Pride player brought down right in front of the goal, and now a 2-on-1, even a 3-on-1 coming up for the Pride. Here it is, shot right into the chest of Leonoff coming from Bowie.
Good job by Bowie. She was looking around, but no second chance.
And a 3-1 lead for the Boston Pride after a fluke goal from Amanda Pelkey. They'll take it. Back in just a moment. A 3-1 lead for the Boston Pride as that goal there from Amanda Pelkey just bounced in, trying to pass it in front and somehow found the net, got around Jamie Leonoff, and she's been ready for most shots today. That one wasn't really a shot.
No, and you know, so much of hockey, any sport really, is anticipation. And she was anticipating the puck coming across, which is where it should have come, but this game moves fast, and the puck bounces funny, and the defense are doing their best to help her out. And I think it went off both defensemen's stick there, or maybe a wing and a defenseman. So it was just a bad bounce.
Smelker, Marvin, and Pelkey on the scoreboard as Boston fires it up into the netting above the boards. Have another face-off coming up. 3-1, Boston has gotten a couple of goals here in the second, outscoring Connecticut 2-0 since the first intermission. Under 4 minutes left to go before the second intermission.
And dominating zone possession, shots, and puck possession, really.
Decker won the face-off, got it to Knight right away. Now they'll pass back and forth. Decker puts it out in front, and the puck was loose, taken away by the Whale defense.
Kelly Cook snuck right through there. Whale defense did not see her. Number 5 for Boston almost had her a goal there.
Now Decker loose, tried to poke it with the backhand, but pushed it wide.
Smooth moves from Decker. Wow.
Heading on net there was Buser for Connecticut. We've seen Boston with a couple of really pretty potential goals that are just either missed or blocked.
And Leonoff's done a good job, as we've talked about over and over, but you're right, some of those chances don't even end with a shot, because the Boston Pride defense has done such a good job, the Connecticut Whale defense has done a good job blocking those shots, or the Pride forwards have missed the net.
Another chance coming up here is, that was Hickel who tried to get it on. Now in front, Leonoff catches this one. First off of her stick, and then she gets her glove out there to take control and set up a face-off.
Good look at her quick reflexes. That's why she hasn't given any second and third chances throughout this game. She's able to corral that puck right into her glove.
Again, certainly the 2 goals that Boston has scored in this period. One was just a slap shot from the top of the left face-off circle, and then the second one was the bouncer that just trickled across, coming from the goal line, basically, for Amanda Pelkey. Leonoff has been very good about not allowing the rebounds. Stack wins the faceoff for Connecticut.
And yet look at Boston still keeping that puck in. They're doing such a good job. Stack wins that puck cleanly, and they're not able to get that puck out of the zone, get their breakout going.
Boston was able to take control and haven't given it up since Stack won the faceoff initially. Pelkey put it back, now Hickel chasing after it, out to the blue line, and not quite able to keep it in was Bolden. She'll dump it down. This
is the line that we talked about at the beginning that is supposedly the third line here for Boston Pride. But the other one that Bobby J says they have been so good, and Jillian Dempsey, their center, has had 2, was the only multi-goal scorer last week in their 8-1 win over the Riveters.
You don't see that very often, 8 goals with 7 different goal scorers, but Jillian Dempsey, the only one to score twice, and that line really excelled last week as well. We don't talk that much about anybody other than Jillian Dempsey, who scored those 2 goals, but Amanda Pelkey, we saw she's got the goal today, and Zoe Hickel, they've really been able to come together well.
Absolutely, and again, depth on these teams a lot. Some of the teams have a little bit more depth. The Pride, from the beginning, you look at their roster, and they have so many players that can play, that have played at the highest levels, but they haven't been able to really play as high a level as Bobby J wants them to, and now he's very pleased with how they're coming together.
You look at the lines, the way they're set up right now for Bobby J is Brittany Ott will bring that one back and cover up. At the top line, Emily Field, Rachel Lanis, and Corinne Bowie, they've played well together. Then you look at the second line, Jordan Smelker and then Brianna Decker and Hillary Knight on a line together. An opposing coach must just wince at that.
Knowing the speed, the strength, everything that they have. And you know, you talk about that first line, Rachel Lanis, she is so fast. She creates so much. She's like she just breaks up plays so easily. She forechecks. She does a lot of the right things. And you're right, you come with a second line and two Olympians there in Decker and Knight who find each other so well.
Two of the best players that Wisconsin has had suit up in Badgers uniforms. And of course, the third line that we've talked about with Pelkey, Dempsey, and Hickel. Now here comes the second line as Smelker brings it up. As Hillary Knight there to help out. Smelker loosened it up. Now Decker turns, tries the shot. Leonoff has got it, and the whistle is blown again.
I think that Whale, early on in the game, they were doing a really good job of transitioning that puck out of their zone, finding players. Taking a look here at Brianna Decker, one of the captains for the Boston Pride. She's so dangerous, and they lose sight of her. Watch her all alone. 3 Connecticut players are down behind the goal line covering 2 Pride players, and you can't leave a player like Brianna Decker alone to walk out front. Leonoff was up to the challenge, but they've got to help her out a little bit.
Decker won that faceoff initially, immediately chased back from the neutral zone by Connecticut, but Boston takes control. Poked in, and Smolenseva was there, but couldn't turn around quickly enough. 40 seconds left to go. Boston has taken a 3-1 lead here in the second period. Icing called, and Connecticut will have an offensive zone faceoff. 34.6 on the clock, and in the first period, very back and forth. Connecticut got on the board first. Boston answered back with a power play, and the second period has really belonged to the Pride.
No question, and now here we go, 34 seconds left in the offensive zone with Connecticut's top line. They would love to put one on the boards right here, go into the dressing room down by just 1 goal.
2-on-2 for Boston as Decker is taken down. Broken up by the defense. Now it's center ice. They'll have to wait. Everybody back on side just in time before Marvin brought it across. Now Smelker decides to keep it. Now throws it back at Decker. Decker top of the circle. 5 seconds left. Puck is loose. Smelker picks it up. Will she have time to take a shot? No. Lets one fly, but that would not have crossed the line before the buzzer sounds, which it does. And we are through 40 minutes of play. A 3-1 Boston Pride lead over the Connecticut Whale, and that was a battle of a period.
Absolutely, but it'll be interesting to see how Connecticut responds. They've got some time now to regroup, figure out some changes, because the Boston Pride owned that period.
18 shots lead to 2 goals for the Boston Pride to take a 3-1 lead over the Connecticut Whale. Back in just a few moments with Lauren McAuliffe, assistant for the Pride on NESN and ESPN3.
Much about it, so I'll just let you
just say what it means,
okay.
or yeah.
Okay.
Back inside the Bright Landry Hockey Center, where the Boston Pride have a 3-1 lead over the Connecticut Whale. That was an interesting second period for sure, but we'll take things off the ice for a little bit with assistant coach Lauren McAuliffe. You're here to tell us a little bit more about the Ed Walsh Foundation.
Yeah, the Ed Walsh Foundation was started by my cousin Ed's wife, Kristen. Ed was a lieutenant that lost his life battling a fire in Boston, and he was an awesome guy, did a lot of good things in the community with sports and with the Franciscan Hospital, just a lot of good causes that he's always supported. And so the foundation was established to continue to raise funds and awareness for these different causes, and they also have a Smile On grant, which is given on a kind of a case-by-case application basis that helps individuals in schools or outside of schools just to help them with different needs. So it's a really good thing. I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Now, we've heard quite a bit about the foundation. What are some of the events and activities that the team and you individually have been doing to help support the foundation?
Yeah, there's a few events every year. We have a big wiffle ball tournament in the fall that they do, and then a couple other things coming up this spring. So it's a lot of good community members that get on board with it, and the firefighting community is always just loyal to these different causes. So it's good to see a lot of people here to support that cause today.
Now on the ice for the Boston Pride, 2 goals there in the second period, a very competitive matchup here against the Connecticut Whale. What are you looking for from the team going into the third, because 2 goals is typically the most dangerous lead in hockey?
Yeah, I think we need to keep our foot on the gas for this period. I think that there's a lot of back and forth right now. I think it's going to be a couple bounces that could make or break this game for us. So I think we need to keep up the pressure, keep putting pucks on net, and keep challenging the goalie.
All right, thanks very much, Lauren. We'll be back in just a moment with Haley Moore on NESN and ESPN3. Good. Back inside Bright Landry Hockey Center, a 3-1 Boston lead over Connecticut in the NWHL game here today at Harvard University. But at the intermission, we'll talk with GM Haley Moore for the Boston Pride. And Haley, you've really had to work really over the summer, especially putting together this roster full of players. You have 11 of them that have earned all-star bids. They'll be playing out in Buffalo last year. And just tell us a little bit about putting this team together. Obviously, you have a lot of talent here to work with in the Boston area.
We do. We're lucky enough to be sending 11 players to the All-Star weekend. Next weekend is very exciting. I think it says a lot about the talent pool we have here in Boston.
So really being able to pull those players together for this season has been exciting, but it's been really exciting to see how all 18 and all 22 really with the practice players have gelled and learned to really work together as a team. It's been fun to see.
Now, the way the scheduling has worked out this season, it's Boston and Connecticut at the top of the standings, and you've got 4 of your last 6 games against them. And how exciting will that be, not only for the team, but for the fans here, as we've got a nice crowd at Bright Landry today?
It's going to be very exciting just to see how the race to the finish goes at the end of the season. I think we're really starting to hit our stride as a team right now. So to have our 4 of our last games in the season to be against the #1 seed, it's going to be a huge challenge for us, and I expect that the players and the coaches are going to really rise to the occasion.
Now, a big part of your job is also to bring the fans into the building here as we look out over Bright Landry Hockey Center. A lot of yellow jerseys in the crowd today, and what are some of the promotions that you've seen really work well, and obviously going forward to bring fans back for the coming years?
We have an outstanding crowd, especially here tonight. It's been very exciting to see that they get right into the action, and they're loud and they're energetic. They love the chuck-a-puck in between periods. They love the youth teams that come on the ice. They love the thrill of the game, the product on the ice, the merchandise in the stands. It's quite an environment that they get to enjoy here, and they've been embracing every aspect of it. So it's been great for us.
And then going back to the putting the team together, a couple times this season the team has been a little bit shorthanded. You've actually gotten to shoot back up and put the pads on again.
I did. Our last game against the Connecticut Whale, I got to step on the ice and hand the Whale their first loss, which was very fun for me.
It certainly had to be a good feeling. Well, thanks for taking the time here, Haley Moore, General Manager of the Boston Pride. We'll be back in just a few moments. Second period of action coming up between the Pride and the Whale. Third period of action coming up between the Pride and the Whale on NESN and ESPN3. Back inside, a 3-1 lead for the Boston Pride over the Connecticut Whale, and a first period that was really back and forth. The second period, though, really controlled by the Pride with 2 goals on 18 shots.
And 2 of their 3 goals, power play goals, they really did control that period. When they were on the power play and also when they were 5-on-5, they had a lot of momentum, they had a lot of confidence, and it will be interesting to see how both of these teams react, because Boston needs to maintain that control, come in, come out flying, no let up, and of course the Whale, they've got their work cut out for them.
With AJ Malesko, I'm Andy Town. We'll take a look at what happened there in the second period, and Boston really did control that whole period. We did see a lot more great work from Jamie Leonoff, though.
We absolutely did, and we talked about the first period really belonged to both goaltenders. Leonoff, despite letting in 2 goals that period, one was a fluky bounce, but here you can see you got the big-time scorer Hillary Knight coming in. She doesn't even get a shot off there with some help from her defense, but Leonoff covering the crease very, very well. She has a screenshot there on a 5-on-3, and the other one that went in was a funny bounce off of a couple defensemen, so she really shouldn't be discouraged and keep up her amazing ways in the crease.
Still a couple minutes before the third period, but there's that shot from Amanda Pelkey that just found its way into the net somehow, and we didn't really have to see a whole lot of Brittany Ott there in the second period as the defense kept most pucks away from her, and the Pride just had the puck on offense. She only saw 4 shots in the second period.
And those are sometimes the toughest games to play because there are players on this team that can score, and they are very, very potent offensively. So she'll have to make sure she's able to keep her head in the game and give the spectators, give her team some more of the saves that she had in the first period. But you mentioned Pelkey's sort of fluky goal, but sometimes you create your own luck by their forecheck, and that team was forechecking so hard, all 3 lines. It was wave after wave of power coming at them, and Pelkey just trying to put that pass in front, and puck goes in the net.
Well, we've seen goals from 3 different players today after 7 different players scored 8 goals last week. It's been Smelker, Marvin, and Pelkey all scoring for the Pride. Marvin's coming on that 5-on-3 that Boston had, actually one of 2 5-on-3s that were both very short, but really taking advantage of the power play opportunities there. And imagine that Connecticut was a little bit worn down there in the second period.
No question. They had so many penalties to kill back to back to back. As I mentioned during the play, that's exhausting. They have obviously 1 or 2 less players on the ice, but they've got to play such short stop and start, and then every chance they get, they really are icing it just to get a change. There's no momentum, no offensive chances for them. And also, it screws up their lines. There's really the rolling on the bench of trying to get everybody out there. They can't stay in their units of the 3 forward lines with the 2 defensemen. So I would imagine that their coach gave a little talking to about discipline and making sure that they keep their sticks down, play the body, play tough, play fierce, but let's not get in the box anymore.
Both teams back on the ice, just seconds away from the third period of action. 31 shots so far and 3 goals for Boston, 14 shots and 1 goal for the Connecticut Whale. We'll see if Brittany Ott is just as sharp as she was in the first period. If Connecticut even gets a bunch more shots in the third, as again, only 4 shots in the second. Rachel Lannis there up against Kelly Stack, ready for the opening faceoff in the third period. It is won initially by Lannis, but given away to Connecticut. Boston will keep it in the offensive zone, and quickly a shot is taken and missed.
Just missed. That was a deflection coming off, almost hit that right post.
Emily Field had the quick shot attempt, and now she tries to settle it down. Flings it into the offensive zone. Now will stay putting on some pressure. Connecticut works it free and will bring it up to the offensive zone for the first time in the period. Bellamy takes it away, but a quick poke forced it into the corner. D'Arcangelo had a stick on it, and then Dempsey works it free, brings it out in front. She'll start the offense forward.
Good read defensively by Jillian Dempsey. She ends up taking this puck coast to coast, but really it started with good stick position down below the goal line, intercepting a pass.
Dempsey tripped up by the defense as she tried to cross in front for a shot. Couldn't get a shot off there. Target was to have Dempsey start that one up again, but instead it goes over to the boards again for Pelkey. Over to Hickel now to the near side. Hickel turns, tries a shot off the stick of Leonoff, and that ends up out of play.
Good pressure early on from both teams, but Connecticut Whale coming out again only just over a minute in, but they know they've got their work cut out for them. They've got a good hot goaltender and a tough team here to beat. Good job by them coming through the neutral zone, trying to make the easy passes, not making those tough passes that we saw in the second period, those long passes that kept getting intercepted by the Pride.
We mentioned a couple times that 2 goals can be the most dangerous lead in hockey as teams often get a little bit too comfortable. Boston settles it again back in the neutral zone this time. Bolden pushes it forward to Decker, has it poked off her stick.
Great play there. Looked like it was Buser that intercepted and then stepped up, and then a little miscommunication there by Kazumi and Buser. Not sure who was going to take that puck.
Knight working her way through two defenders, keeps control of the puck, got it into the middle and a score. Brianna Decker takes the feed from Hillary Knight and puts Boston on top, 4-1.
That's a big goal. Both teams knew the next goal was going to be a big time goal, making the score either 4-1 or 3-2. And that looked to me a little bit like a miscue from the defenseman coming through the slot. Brianna Decker, Hillary Knight. Knight carries this puck in, but watch Decker comes in, and then I think it looked like it was almost the defenseman that puts that puck in the net. Smelker was there to try to bat it home, but I think that was put in off a whale stick.
As Smelker was there, Decker was actually a little bit further behind, so it wasn't her that put it in. We couldn't tell if that actually did go off of Smelker or if it was an own goal that snuck under Leonoff.
If in that case, it may be a Hillary Knight goal.
It is, in fact, Hillary Knight getting credit for the goal.
Assisted by number 11, Smelker, and number 22, Casey Bellamy.
Smelker and Bellamy both getting credit for assists on the goal, and here's another chance, but knocked away as Boston just trying to pour it on here. Right now a 3-goal lead. Another one could essentially ice the game, although there's still plenty of time left. Here's Marvin across to Dempsey. Either way, we'll take another couple looks at it later to confirm the official scoring. And this puck is loose, covered up by Ott, but most credit for that goal should certainly go to Hillary Knight, the way she set it up.
The way she carried it in and moved her body, absolutely, and then putting the puck over. I think she was trying to pass to Smelker because Decker was the trailer. But to that last play there, Brittany Ock does a good job. Here's the goal. We're talking about Hillary Knight trying to, and it, yeah, I think that is, not sure who is that. I couldn't tell, but is that Ward? It might be Danielle Ward that put that in, not even a defenseman. And then that's that last chance there. Oh no, we're looking, but there was a chance there by,
Bolden ripped one in there, and Field was also close. Boston has had plenty of chances.
They have, and we were so focused on that goal and who had it, and Brittany Ott does a good job of covering that puck coming around. And again, we keep talking about Leonoff not giving any second chances, and Brittany Ott's doing her share of down at this end of the ice.
Boston's up to 36 total shots on goal in this game, 5 already in the first 3.5 minutes of the third period. Off the stick of Lannis, or off the skates of Lannis there, as she prevents Kazumi from a clean shot. Kazumi leaves it off. Buser was there. Sends it up to the corner from the blue line. Kazumi will battle with Lannis. Kazumi gets it back to the point, and Ott catches that one again, no rebound.
It's really the first time since the first period that I've seen any sustained possession of the offensive zone for the Connecticut Whale. They do a good job of cycling around. Ends with a shot that comes in, but something that Brittany Ott can handle pretty well. But they hold on to that zone for longer than they were able to in all of the second period.
Ward and Decker ready for the face-off here to the left of Ott. Connecticut with it. Ward sends it out, trying a wrister, but Knight gets a stick on it to clear it out of the zone. That was Fratkin who put it on net. Pride player without a stick there. Whale knocked to the ice. Knight turns around, has to leave it back behind her for Marvin. Marvin at center ice. Over to the far side. Knight rips a shot and Leonoff catches it. Boston just not afraid to put shots on from anywhere. In the first period especially, it looked like they were more focused on crashing the net and just taking everything close up, but now it's opened up a little bit.
It's opened up a little bit, and they're trying to make the passes, but looking at the shots on goal, 37-17 in favor of the Pride. Now, mostly due to that second period, but you're absolutely right. They're putting pucks on. They're not afraid to go for the ugly goals, right? The garbage goals as opposed to the pretty ones, although with this lineup, they have plenty of the pretty goals too.
That's the second goal of the day coming on the 5-on-3 power play. It was Gigi Marvin from the top of the left faceoff circle. Certainly not real close in on that one. There's Marvin there in the corner. Now Lannis gets a stick on it. Still in the faceoff circle. Connecticut maybe tried to get a little too fancy. D'Arcangelo may have had a better chance of taking a shot herself. Back to the blue line, kept in onside. Now Stack battling with Lannis. Lannis gets help there from Bowie. Stack goes down to the ice. Boston will let that one dribble all the way down and go off for a change. Dempsey tries to push that one forward. Sends it up for Pelkey. Pelkey behind the net. Circles it around. Hickel. Dempsey did a 360 there. Now is sent in the direction of the boards. Bolden with it at the blue line. Whale goes down. Now a shot.
Buser does a good job. She blows a tire there, but gets right back up and recovers well.
There was a block before that puck even got to Leonoff. Backhanded attempt. Ott with two blue jerseys coming at her, covers up. And with that, we'll take a quick break here. It is 4-1 Pride, 13:52 on the clock on NESN and ESPN3. Okay.
Fans, we've got two special birthday announcements today. Coach McCall would like to send out a Boston Pride happy birthday to your dad, Joe McCall.
Bobby J and Lauren McAuliffe in your screen there. Bobby J certainly has to be happy with the way his team is playing again this weekend. After an 8-1 win against New York last weekend, they're up 4-1 on Connecticut today.
Yeah, and as I said, I coach with him. I actually coach our daughters at U10. We both missed the game because we're here right now. But when I was talking to him at our game yesterday, and he said that he's really pleased with the way they're playing. He knows that they have so much talent, but it's trying to get them to come together and work as a team. And a lot of that is tweaking the lines, and a lot of that is having them believe in the systems and figuring things out. And obviously with an 8-1 win last week and then their effort out here today, he's very pleased.
Boston averaging 4 goals a game this season. That's where they sit right now. It was a 2-1 win last time Boston and Connecticut played. Pride coming out on top. The only loss that Connecticut has taken so far this season. And the Whale with just the 1 goal so far today as well. Brittany Ott has been spectacular. Really can't say that Jamie Leonoff hasn't been spectacular either, despite the score.
No, two pretty fluky goals. One comes in off for defenseman, and actually 2 of the goals came in off defenseman.
Bounced up in front of Ott, and the net comes off the moorings just after the puck missed wide right. So the net didn't come off, just preventing the goal. It was just missed before that, but still a bit lucky there that it did for Boston.
It does, and you can see the puck goes up, and it was Galardia who gets that. It's trying to get that puck, but that puck goes up, and Brittany Ott is not quite sure where it is when that puck is up over her head. We had a great look at it from our angle, and it lands right in front of her, and then Galardia is there to help keep that puck out, and in so doing, knock the net off its moorings.
Sacrificed herself. Don't see too many all the way up, bounced off of the end boards. Pelkey was looking for somewhere to go with it, but lost the puck. Now Marvin tried sliding it across the red line, ends up keeping it herself. Now Pelkey, a one-on-one, is pushed too far away. Now Bolden with a shot kicked away by Leonoff. That time Decker tried to wrist it, went a little bit too high.
I think that was Zoe Hickel coming through there, and she missed it a little bit high, but she makes a good move to get herself in position in the middle of the slot.
Hickel again. Gallardi was winding up, but Pelkey kept it. Now Hickel back behind the net. Connecticut will skate it through center ice and bounce it right at Brittany Ott. She decides to hang on to this one and take the face-off rather than let Babstock take a hack at it.
Connecticut Whale disappointed. Of course, they've got their top line down in the defensive zone, spending all their energy, and then you see somebody like Kelly Stack coming up the middle of the ice. She didn't have any gas in the tank. Does a good job of flipping the puck in and making Brittany Ott play it.
Decker and Buser there on the face-off will blow the whistle and do it again. Decker and Buser, they do it again, and Decker falls down on top of it. Buser comes away with it. Sorry, this is Babstock coming away with it. Puck loose outside the crease. Still a lot of sticks going after it. Bellamy takes it away.
Connecticut's feeling a little bit of pressure right now, down by 3 goals. 11 minutes left in this game, but if they can get one now, then they know that they're right back in the running. They know the more time, obviously, it clicks off, but you can see it. They're putting a little more pressure on. They're trying to find that puck in front of Ott.
You mentioned earlier that Boston wasn't holding their sticks too tightly when they went down 1-0 early. They know they've got players that can score, and Connecticut does as well. Plenty of offensive talent on this team. In fact, Connecticut with 49 goals this season, Boston with 48 as a team. Will bring it up offensively again. This is Wolfiler up in the corner as 2 Pride players on her. Out in front, knocked away by Marvin. Great job helping out Ott. Now another wrister, trying to deflect it down was Ward.
Smolenseva had more time than that. She was up high. She put that puck on. It still almost found its way in through a bounce, but she had a little bit of space there. She could have walked in.
Boston really dominating shots on goal. 39-21 right now. Here's another shot, and Ott catches it.
Arcangelo coming off the bench with her stick the wrong way, and she still manages to get her stick, manage that puck, get a shot. Now, of course, that shot came up high to her glove. Right here, watch it. It comes out. She's got somebody crashing. That puck should have been low. Try to see if you can create a rebound.
May not count that one officially as a shot on goal. It looked like it was headed just wide, but either way, Ott grabs it, and we'll restart with the face-off. Lannis there, and she initially had the control, but Connecticut takes it away. Now at the point, puck is loose, and Ott, holy smokes, how did she get that?
What a save. We talked about how she hasn't been tested, but wow, she's up to the challenge.
And we'll see that again on the other side, but for now, just a couple of messages in a 4-1 Boston lead on NESN and ESPN3.
Against the same Connecticut Whale squad. Check them over to bring that special person for the PGM puck.
back at Bright Landry Hockey Center, a 4-1 lead for the Boston Pride that easily could have been just 4-2 there, but Brittany Ott, wow.
Watch her right here, her head. She's tracking that puck the whole way. Comes across, you know, those glove saves, sometimes they look, I don't know, usually they're going the other way, of course, stretching around. That could have been a blocker save, but she was down, watching, and she does a great job. I think the Whale really thought they had one there.
Just had to bring that left arm up so quickly, and she ended up losing her balance, falling off to the right, but hung on for the save and keeps it a 4-1 game as Bowie charged forward.
Another thing we've seen, another trend we've seen a lot is coming, face-offs in the defensive zone for the Boston Pride. And no matter where that puck goes, they're able to break out so quickly. They jump on it, and the Pride is not able to block them out. The Whale is not able to block them out. I misspoke.
Back to the corner now. Doyle will take it. Skate around, some pressure coming from Boston. Offensively again, now there's a block. That was off the skate of Gedman. Boston trying to clear it out, able to get it into the neutral zone. Linesman right there trying to hop over it. Connecticut comes away with it, but then there's Bolden, tried to get it up the ice, and icing will be called as Pelkey couldn't quite get a stick on it. No, it's waved off.
Waved off because of Pelkey's speed. She worked so hard, got there first.
Had it sneak under her, had that connected for a clean pass. Pelkey may have had open ice to the goal. Either way, she's able to avoid the icing call. Now Dempsey, far side, sends it up to Pelkey, pushes it out in front of her. Connecticut picks it up. 8.5 minutes to play, a 4-1 Boston lead. Wristed on to Ott, and again she hangs on.
Good work here by the Whale, putting some pressure on there. They got to be careful of their turnovers. I think that's one of the things that Boston Pride has really capitalized on, is they're trying to make these passes, maybe getting a little bit too cute, trying to get in front of the net, or they're taking shots that are easy for Ott to direct the puck into the corner, and they have to protect that puck a little bit more.
And turnovers and points off turnovers are stats that are tracked a little bit more in basketball and football, but it would be interesting to see if that were tracked here, and what the goal situation would be for how many goals that Boston has scored off of turnovers. Is another shot there is just missed off to the left.
Wow, Hillary Knight missed the net, but Brianna Decker, what a hustle for her to chase that puck down, and good heads-up play to realize that Hillary Knight was all alone in front of the net.
Back to the middle, Connecticut try and set something up, but they send it on Ott softly, and she covers.
Does look like some of the shots from Connecticut are coming. They're trying to get pucks on net, but they're doing it so that they're weaker shots from outside that are easy. Here the puck's deflected, but it's not that tough a shot for Ott to cover, not give a second chance. So for them to try to penetrate, get in a little bit closer to make those shots count a little bit more.
Almost looks like they're trying to get a little bit lucky and see if they can get a fluke goal, kind of like Amanda Pelkey had. Or maybe catch Ott off guard, which is going to be tough to do. Ott saving over 92% of the shots that she has seen this year. Goals against average just over 2. Now Smelker touches it back over to Knight. Knight puts it out in front looking for Decker. Actually had it blocked back at her.
Great, that was Kelly Stack who actually replaced the defenseman there. Stayed back, played one-on-one against Hillary Knight and played it perfectly.
Back to the blue line. Gallardi turned over to Bolden. Now Knight couldn't quite keep it. Goes after it. Coyle puts it back behind the net. 4-1 Pride on top as Connecticut bringing it in the offensive zone. No icing. They just decide to go off for a change, and Cook bring it up on the far side, puts it out in front for Field. Knocked away by Bolden, finds Cook there. Target of that play was to set up Babstock in front.
Good defense by Blake Bolden.
Bolden with it again across the red line, now across the blue line onside. Bolden wrists one on, and Leanoff will drag that back at her and put a glove on it.
Blake Bolden did a good job as she stepped up. It was a 2-on-1, but she played it perfectly and then jumped up. Here you'd see her taking a shot, takes control of the play. Not a terribly dangerous shot, but a good job getting the puck in smart forward diagonal play.
Boston with 4 goals on 40 shots in this game. They just keep peppering Leonoff. Over to the near side, picked up by Connecticut, but as they tried to fire it up the ice, Kazumi was working her way up, and if she had gotten that puck, would have been a great chance for Connecticut, but Boston has called for offsides. They took it away. (40-24) in the shots category, and Brittany Ott has had herself a really nice day. Couple of great saves, 23 in all.
And despite not being tested much in the second period, which for a goaltender, I'd imagine, never having been a goalie myself, it would be those are the toughest games where you have some periods of inactivity, but you really have to stay sharp.
That's something you can certainly get worried about, and if you're just standing there not doing much, you only faced 4 shots in the second period, has already faced 10 through the first 14 minutes and change in the third. Boston looking for a backhand try. There's a penalty coming up, and this will go against Connecticut. Another power play coming up, and that's really what helped Boston in the second period.
It absolutely, and here the Whale will have a chance on the power play to take control under 6 minutes, and that's a hefty goal here to try to tie this game up in such a short amount of time, but this is what they can do. They have a great power play, and you're absolutely right. In the second period, that's sort of what sparked Boston to take control. They had several power plays back to back to back, but let's see how the Whale responds.
Pelkey in the box for 2 minutes, and Connecticut, the #1 power play in the league at just about 25%, is on the ice. Now Stack back to the blue line, deflected in front. That was Knight getting his stick on it. Now Stack will again turn it back around. Marvin and Decker send that one up.
Boston's playing with so much confidence right now. Their penalty kill is it's almost like they're playing 5-on-5. Very smart about it, but they're playing very aggressive.
We've only seen the Whale power play once, and Boston was very aggressive on the PK. Stack now on the near side up towards the corner. Bangs this one against the end boards. Babstock now to Stack again. Bottom of the circle, will skate towards the net, but excellently defended by Gallardi.
Although she didn't move her feet, I'm surprised the refs didn't call her on that for a hook.
Top of the circle, back out to the point. Shot again blocked, that time Decker.
Good setup there. Darkangelo has to get that puck off quick. That shot has to get off quicker.
Decker kicks this one forward and will again clear it out. Another outstanding penalty kill, and here's another penalty coming up. This will be against Boston.
They should give the recognizing that they could have given that puck to Boston to touch so they get more time on the 5-on-3. They didn't lose much time on it here. The 37 seconds of a 5-on-3. Try to get one on the board.
Maybe 4 or 5 seconds extra ticked off there after the arm went up. That could have been an extra 4 or 5 seconds of 5-on-3, but either way, it'll be 37 seconds.
Well, of course, the interesting thing is I say that, but I'm looking at the ref with her arm up, and really what we had was Kelly Stack coming in on, looked like maybe a 3-on-2. So you have an on-man rush. She had a good opportunity there to get a shot.
And I think when she realized that she didn't have a great angle, she just softly put that one at Ott, so she would certainly cover up and end up with the 5-on-3. And Connecticut has called a timeout here, and they'll try and set this up because they will have the 2-man advantage for 37 seconds, and that is about 3 times as long as Boston had the 5-on-3 when they scored earlier.
And it only took them 8 seconds to actually get the goal, so they've got that, and if they can get a quick goal here, they still have a power play to work with and work on that. As you said, they've got the #1 power play in the league here. Under 4.5 minutes to go, but a great opportunity for them. Get a goal, get 2 goals, and then it's a whole different ball game.
Boston does have the #3 penalty kill, and we've seen them looking very good today on the penalty kill, especially through the first power play that Connecticut had, and then even there through the first minute and 23 seconds being very aggressive. I have to imagine that they'll be a little bit more conservative, just trying to keep the puck away from Brittany Ott, and maybe not going after it and trying to bring it up the ice themselves.
There's that. They both go down, but Brianna Decker, I don't know what they actually called her for. To me, it looked like interference. That puck was going through, and she used her body, and of course, they ended up both going down, but good call.
It'll be a cross-check officially called. Could have gone either way on that one. But they get her for the cross-check and the 2-minute penalty. D'Arcangelo sends it out, and that skips over the stick of Brickner. She's able to turn around and regain. Stack now, top of the left circle. Shot was deflected high. D'Arcangelo knocked it down. Now Marvin and Dempsey combined to clear that one out.
Great job by Boston here. Connecticut has a little bit more time on the 5-on-3 than Boston had, and you can see them. They're a little bit more relaxed, but they have to make sure that they get that puck in the middle there, get some shots as opposed to just keeping it to the outside, which they've done so far.
Back to 5-on-4 now as the first penalty is expired. Minute 10 left to go on the 5-on-4.
Watch Bellamy behind the net there, unusual. Now they're back to it is the 5-on-4, but for them to be that aggressive coming off a 5-on-3.
Dempsey sent that one down the length of the ice, and that was very close as Stack just barely missed the post. Linesman trying to keep one foot on the ground there and keep his balance, but was in the way of the puck, and that may have helped Boston with a little bit more time being killed off.
Saw that a little bit at the beginning of that 5-on-3 right in front of us here. The linesman tied up a Connecticut Whale player.
Ghilardi sends this one off the boards in front of her own bench. Now we'll skate over to the near side. A little bit of pressure coming there from Decker. Stick back up by Bolden. And Boston, again, a nice job killing off this penalty. Still 12 seconds left, but it's all the way at the other end of the ice. Now Kazumi onside. See if she gets help across and sent back towards the goal at Ott by Marvin. Boston maybe a little bit lucky not to have another situation like we saw with Connecticut before with an own goal, but the penalty has expired. Back to 5-on-5 hockey, and Boston kills off 37 seconds of 5-on-3 and then a minute 23 of 5-on-4. So it remains as a 4-1 game. Boston on top on NESN and ESPN3.
Teams that are going on here. Tie 1-1.
Back inside Bright Landry Hockey Center, 4-1 Boston on top of Connecticut after a great penalty kill that included 37 seconds of 5-on-3.
And you know, it's hard to tell right now. It looks Boston's controlling this game, and it's hard to tell sometimes whether it's because Boston players are playing with so much confidence and so aggressive, or Connecticut is just missing on some of their passes. Doesn't look like they're handling the puck very well. Their passes are missing a little bit. They're not receiving passes very well. There's a lot of bouncing pucks, but that could be because Boston's just really aggressive and, as I said, playing with a ton of confidence.
Bolden sends this one up into the corner. It is 5-on-5 hockey right now, and Boston has 40 shots today, Connecticut 25. Now, 2 of the goals that have come against Connecticut, you really can't blame on Jamie Leanoff. She has had a great day today in net. The numbers won't tell the story, though. Ghilardi blocks one there, a hard shot coming from Smolentseva.
Good block again. Boston Pride does a good job of doing that too. They're not afraid.
Ghilardi sends this one back out to Wolfiler, who can't keep it in. Ghilardi will try. She has a one-on-one there with Field, and Field maybe just a little bit across a little bit too early, and offsides is called.
Glardy may have pulled up a little bit, made a little move at the blue line. But good step by Glardy to get that puck up and step into the play, create a little bit of offense. Odd man rush there.
Still 4-1. The faceoff is won by Connecticut. We'll send it over to the near side. Skating up quickly, the Whale will have to put a lot of pressure on here. Stack in the corner. Bellamy was right there battling for it. Stack gets it back in the circle. This one deflected high above the net. Bounced off the end boards. Now to the blue line, deflected off of a couple of bodies. Pelkey tried to send that one through center ice. Now Bellamy sends that one underneath the lineman. And offsides called again as Dempsey had that just sneak back across the blue line with Pelkey on the other side.
Another offsides for them. You can tell they're eager. They're trying to jump the gun a little bit. Connecticut, they're putting pressure on, and they're doing a pretty good job, but they're a little bit slow to take their shots. And again, maybe it's a factor of Boston being so quick to jump on them.
Boston won the faceoff, and the final seconds are ticking off here. 25 left. Boston with the 4-1 lead, looking to add a fifth. Bolden sent it out in front, and nearly another goal there. That back half of the goal was open.
The crowd here, one of the largest crowd they've had on hand here for a Boston Pride game since over 1,100. Since their home opener, they wanted a goal there.
Kazumi sent hard into the boards as Bolden came back quickly on defense. And there's the horn to seal the 4-1 win for the Boston Pride. 2 straight wins over the Connecticut Whale, the only 2 losses that Connecticut has taken this season. So Boston really trying to cement itself towards the top of the league.
And they did. For anybody here watching this game, anybody watching it at home, they really are a team to contend with. They play very, very well. They play very aggressively. But the biggest thing that I've noticed in watching them over the last couple weeks is they've gained confidence. They trust each other, and they play as if they own the puck, and they're not going to let anybody else have it.
9-3-0-1 for the Boston Pride. Goals today from Smelker, Marvin, Pelkey, and Knight. Connecticut goal comes from Tara Tomimoto. That was the first goal of the game, but then Boston took control from there and ends up with the win. We'll be back in 2 weeks here on Valentine's Day, on NESN and ESPN3.